Hi, I'm Weston, but you probably knew that. And I'm here to recap Game 14 of the regular season. Astros lose 6-5, walk-off fashion in the bottom of the ninth. And this one is the worst loss of the year. Bar none! So let's get into it. First off, happy Jackie Robinson Day. I know it was yesterday, but the Astros didn't play. So we wore the Jackie Robinsons today. Super great day for baseball to commemorate, breaking of the color barrier by Jackie Robinson. Fantastic day to celebrate. And we rewarded that by just absolutely having this abomination of a game. So that's cool, First inning, both teams go 1-2-3. Second inning, Yuli got a leadoff walk. That's a theme for the season. Side note, Yuli went 1 for 3 with a walk. So he got on base 2 times out of 4, and his on-base percentage went down. Because that's how good he's killing it this year. Anyway, the walk was erased on a double play by Correa. Bottom half of the second, a leadoff walk and a single to put runners, 2 runners on. That's kind of sketchy. But then, pop up, strikeout, and a fly out. Ends it. Great inning by, great way to come back, I should say, by Urquidy. In the third, the Astros go 1-2-3. Pop out, single to center, a gorgeous strikeout by Jose Urquidy. It was inside middle. I don't know if it was a curveball or a breaking ball, but you guys really got to go look at that. It was a beautiful pitch to get a called strike 3 by Jose Urquidy. And then a fly out to straw ends the third. Fourth, Astros go 1-2-3 again because we're doing this game. Then 2 strikeouts to start the bottom of the fourth. And a kind of funny pop-up to Diaz where everyone kind of forgot where the ball was and no one wanted to go for it. And then Diaz kind of was just like, oh, someone should probably do that, eh? And then got it. So we move on to the fifth where the Astros would get 3 runs. Yuli struck out, which was unusual for him this season. Correa got the first hit of the night in the fifth. And then Tyler Jones walks. Cool. And then Alex DeGotti, Astros prospect for a very long time, the spring training hero himself, comes up, singles to left. Fantastic. Just fantastic by Alex DeGotti. Gets a run home with Correa. And then Tyler Jones moving over to third. Forces a bad throw. It gets away. He comes home. DeGotti at second. Fantastic first hit for him. And man, I'm just so excited to see him at the major league level. I was kind of hoping we'd see him last year, but we didn't, and so I'm really excited to see him this year. So after that happens, McCormick would double to left center, so DeGotti would score. 3-0 at this point. The Astros have a really good lead. Then Castro would have a deep fly out, but McCormick, good base running, moved over to third. It wouldn't end up mattering, but it's nice to see, good base running like that, aggressive base running by McCormick. And then Straw would ground out to end that. Top half of the fifth. Bottom half of the fifth. Leadoff walk, fly out, and then double play ends it. Cool. Moving on. 6th inning. Diaz got hit by a pitch on the elbow, and it looked real bad. He was in a lot of pain. To raucous cheering from the Seattle Mariners fans, which is, cool. Like, I understand you guys are mad about that, and here's the thing. You can boo us. That's perfectly fine. Like, I don't care if you boo us. That's cool, right? It's a game, you can do that. But you don't see something kind of morally wrong about cheering for a human in pain? You don't see something kind of, wrong with that? Like, also, Diaz, notable part of the Astros 2017 scandal, as he was in the National League with the Cardinals during that season. So I just wanted to drop that little tidbit in there. Brantley would pop out. Yuli ripped one after that to the left fielder. I thought it was going to be a double for sure. It wasn't. And then Correa would ground out to end the top half of the 6th. Bottom half. Leadoff single and a wild pitch would move him over to second. So that's not great. Then a really deep double, which instead of being like a line drive double, which is usually what they are, it was just a super high pop-up that perfectly got to the outfield. So the runner moves to third, doesn't score, but now it's runners at second and third, no outs. That's not great. Kyle Seager comes up, the guy that apparently isn't going to be on the Mariners next year. And that's, quote, the ex-president himself of the Mariners. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a fantastic Rotary Club interview that you should look up. with him in it, where he just said a lot of stuff that is insane. I know that's old news, but I had to mention it. He would double to make it 3-2. Back-to-back strikeouts, so now he got 2 outs and a runner at first, I believe. No, second, excuse me. And Dusty Baker would then pull Jose Urquidy. Why? I don't really know. He struck out back-to-back guys. So at that point, I think you go, all right, I'm going to let you roll. He wouldn't. He would bring in Brooks Raley, and Brooks Raley, to his credit, really good. Got the strikeout, did his job, gets out of the 6th. In the 7th, the Astros would get those 2 runs back and reinstall the 3-run lead. Taylor Jones singles to start off the inning. Alex DeGotti would get his 2nd career hit. That was pretty cool. Fly out by McCormick, but Taylor Jones tagged up over to 3rd. Castro would then walk to load the bases. Miles Straw would strike out. Then a wild pitch. This was crazy to Diaz. A wild pitch got perfectly under the catcher, perfectly back to the backstop, and then ricocheted back to the catcher in the span of about 2 seconds. It was absurd. I've never seen a pitch ricochet off the backstop and back to the pitcher, A, that quickly, and A, that perfectly. It was kind of crazy. But we wouldn't end up needing that because Diaz would single past the shortstop to score 2, make it 5-2. Brantley would then come up and line out to end the top half. And in the bottom half, Abreu comes in. That's cool. Bring him in. That's fine. Walks the leadoff batter. That's not great. A fielder's choice would get the runner at second, so that's fine. A single would then put the runners at the corners. Another sharp single would then make it runners at the corners again, but a 5-3 game, so now the lead is cut to 2. Then a deep sac fly to Chas McCormick, which I thought it was a really good play by Chas McCormick. It wasn't a diving play or anything, but it was an over the shoulder, on the run, and he just got a great read off of it immediately and a great first step, which is really what got that to be a fly or a sac fly and not a potential base clearing double or triple. Would make it 5-4, and then Dusty would pull Abreu for Blake Taylor, which he came in, struck out Kyle Seager. Is it Kyle Seager? Yes, I think it is. Which, cool. Get out of the 7th. That's good. 8th inning. Yuli with a leadoff single. Correa would pop out. And then Taylor Jones is supposed to come up. And he got pinch hit for. Now, Taylor Jones, who had probably been our best hitter tonight, you think, okay, you want to go with a lefty. So that's obvious Kyle Tucker. Nope! Wrong again! It is actually Ronnie Dawson. Which, why? Why Ronnie Dawson? I like him. I think he's a cool guy. He seems super positive. I like him, and I hope he can become a good player. But you're going to pinch hit for him in a 1-run game and not Kyle Tucker? I didn't like that. And then Dawson would ground into a double play, which was super frustrating. Then, bottom half of the 8th. Oh boy, here we go. Pop out for the first out, and then a really, really big, deep home run to tie it at 5. Stanek was already warming up in the bullpen. It was probably already warm going into the 8th. But we didn't bring him in for some reason. And we've shown, obviously, he showed the inning before this that he's okay putting in a pitcher for 1 out. Didn't bring in Stanek, so now it's tied at 5. And then the next batter, little tapper back to Blake Taylor, and then while getting the ball, really messed up his ankle. I thought it might have just been a rolled ankle at first, but gosh, it looked bad. He had to be carted off. And now you're out a really good bullpen arm. I know he hasn't been super great to start the season, but he's a good pitcher. We saw that last year. And now he's out for, I have to imagine, at least a week or 2. Like, I can't imagine this is just a one-night little, it just kind of startled me. Like, it looked bad. Stanek comes in, and the first play in his night was this beautiful play by Carlos Correa, diving stop. And earlier in the season, I complained because there was a play where Correa, with a really nice stop, tried to get greedy and get a double play. Threw to Altuve, it was really off the line, and I think that run came around to score. This time, he knew what he had to do. Gets up, big throw over to first, got the runner, wasn't greedy, got what he knew he could get. Really, really good play by Carlos Correa, and I wanted to mention that. And then, a really hard hit ball to Aledmus Diaz, fields it no problem, gets out of the 8th. But we're tied at 5. Now, in the 9th, Alex DeGotti strikes out to start it. Finally, Tucker pinch hits from Chas McCormick. He would then fly out to right center. and then Castro would strike out. Bottom half of the ninth. Here we go. Right here. Here's the money. Here's the money shot that you were waiting for. 2 walks to start it. Presley comes in. Leadoff double. Or not leadoff double, but double to start Presley's night, and that was it. That was it. Ground roll double ends it. I thought it was going to be a 3-run home run, to be fair. So I guess this was, less humiliating, but it doesn't matter. And my notes after this were just me slamming the keyboard because there's just a lot of gibberish. And this one hurts. This one hurts a lot. This is probably the toughest loss of the year for the Astros. This was just... You had 2 3-run leads, and you couldn't pull it up. All right, pitching lines, right? Because I'm going to get into that blown lead stuff in a minute. Pitching lines, Jose Urquidy, 5 2/3, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. Brooks Raley, 1 out, which was a strikeout, nothing else. Brian Abreu, 2 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk. Blake Taylor, 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 strikeout. Ryan Stenek, 2/3, 1 run, 2 walks, no hits. Ryan Presley, no outs recorded, just gave up the 1 hit to give up the run on Stenek's line. Final thoughts. The kids were the best of the game. They were the bright spots. Taylor Jones, Alex DeGotti, and Chas McCormick. They were the bright spots. Taylor Jones, 1 for 2 with a walk and 2 runs. DeGotti, 2 for 4. Both his first Major League hit and his second Major League hit with an RBI and 2 runs. And McCormick had an RBI and a really nice catch, which I already mentioned. They were the bright spots. They were the offense. Yuli continues to just destroy the league. He's the AL leader in on base so far. He had a walk and a hit, which again, a 1 for 3 night with a walk, so 2 bases out of 4 attempts, lowered his on base this season because he's absurd right now. On to the pitching. Jose Urquidy almost had himself a DeGrom. He had the strikeout numbers, he had the runs, he had the walks, but he didn't get to the 6th inning, and he had the loss, obviously. Well, he didn't get the loss, but the Astros lost. So sorry, you were only 1 away from a DeGrom there, Urquidy. I know you must be very sad to not have that statistic that I made up, but sadly, he wouldn't get that tonight. I say sadly, it would have been better if we would have just won, but what have you. Now, okay. Dusty Baker. I want to like Dusty Baker. I really do. He seems like a super nice guy, and he's managed so many games, right? But, boy, this was the worst game he's managed for the Astros, bar none. This was just bad. You bring Raley in for 1 batter, you don't let him stay in for the next inning. That's okay, right? Cool. Then you bring in Taylor for the 1 out, but then you put him back in for the next inning, which I don't get. You already had Stenek warmed. He was ready to come in, and you don't. Then, in the 9th, going into the bottom of the 9th, instead of letting Stenek, chill, let him go to the dugout and bring in your closer to force extras, you leave Stenek out there, and you don't bring in Ryan Presley. I don't get that. You also pinch hit for the best hitter tonight in Taylor Jones. You pinch hit for him with a guy who's had 1 Major League game, I think 3 at-bats. You pinch hit for him instead of Kyle Tucker, which I wouldn't have pinch hit in the first place. But why? This was awful, right? Was the pitching bad? Yeah, it wasn't great. But I think this game really just falls on the management of Dusty Baker. This was a rough game to watch. It was bad. And for those people that said all of last year and this year, oh, the Astros didn't get a punishment. They didn't get punished for the cheating scandal. I give you this. We don't have Jeff Lunau, and we don't have AJ Hinch. We now have Dusty Baker and James Click, who didn't want to pay Springer $25 a year, but then gave Brantley a $16-a-year contract and McCullers a $17-a-year contract very soon after, and then offered a $25-a-year contract to Correa. You can't make this stuff up. Oh, and by the way, you know who else has 6 wins just like the Astros this season? the Tigers, led by AJ Hinch. But hey, you gotta give us credit. At least we have more wins than the Yankees. I can make fun of them while I can because they are the worst team in the AL. And that's not even exaggeration going by wins. At the end of it, this game just hurts because you had 2 3-run leads. You had so many chances and you couldn't win it. You couldn't do it. And I don't want to hear but Weston, they were missing Altuve and Bregman and all these other good players. I get that. But baseball is such an opportunistic game. You can't... It's helpful to have those players, sure. But you had production. You had runners on. You know, it was a bad game for the Astros. This is our worst of the year. The offense did pretty well, and the pitching just couldn't pick us up. And it just bites. And here's the thing. I don't think we're going to be bad this year. I still think we're going to make the playoffs. I still, to be honest, expect us to win the American League West, if I'm being honest. But, man, this is just such a awful start for the Astros. I didn't see this coming whatsoever. And, man, this is unacceptable to lose this series. You got to win the next 2 games, guys. You can't lose them. You know, this is our 6th straight loss. And, you should have been punched in the mouth by the Tigers. That should have been the wake-up call. That should have been whoa, we lost 3 straight to the Tigers at home. Time to go beat up on the Mariners. And you're not. You know, the Tigers should have been the slap in the face. But it apparently wasn't, because we went out tonight and had a more embarrassing loss than any of those 3. Getting walked off by the Mariners. So that's it for the game. It was bad. But you know what isn't bad? You know what's good? We did it. We hit 200 subscribers. And we hit 10,000 total views. And I'm bringing these back for the video. Boom! Party poppers. I'm just gonna... Perfect. I don't know what to say. I was hoping to reach this by the All-Star break. Right? I thought that was a fair, time frame to put on it, was the All-Star break. Because start of the season, it was like 135 subscribers around there and around 7,300 views, which I'm like, all right, I'll set for the All-Star break. That's a good point to set it at. And we hit it now. After opening day, I'm like, wow, we might hit this by June. And then a week ago, I'm like, we might hit this by the end of the month or the start of May. And we hit it midway through April, and we did it. I don't have words. It's insane. There's actually people, a good portion of people, that actually care what I have to say. It's absurd. I'm just some guy in Florida talking to a phone. And you guys want to hear what I have to say. You guys value my opinion, and that is such an honor to have that, to know that people want to know what I have to say. I don't have words to describe how happy that makes me, and I want everyone to genuinely know. I am super appreciative. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And I can't thank you guys enough. So that's going to do it. We play tomorrow, and I believe it is Odorizzi on the mound, but I could be wrong. I want to get it correct. Greinke on the mound, excuse me. Greinke will start tomorrow. Hopefully Garrett Stubbs as well. And I'll come to you guys after that game. Another late one tomorrow, 9:10 p.m. So thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and even after 6 straight losses and a brutal one like tonight, go Astros.